Illinois' sanctuary status and the federal Real ID expected to be big issues today, as Illinois is going to be visited by the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem under the Trump administration on the day that Real ID goes into effect. Good morning. It's Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and get headlines in your inbox at thecentersquare.com. Find the podcast where you get podcasts. Just search Illinois in Focus. So we got note yesterday that Kristi Noem, the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security under the Trump administration, is going to be visiting Springfield. She's going to be flying into the municipal airport, and a press announcement from Noem's office said that she's going to hold a press conference in Springfield Wednesday. This press conference will highlight how sanctuary policies in Illinois have unleashed violence on American citizens, including rape, sexual assault, murder, shoplifting, and more, while shielding illegal aliens responsible from facing consequences. Clearly, you've got Illinois being sued by the U.S. Department of Justice, and we've talked about that with filings continuing. That case persists. You've got them challenging the state's Trust Act and a Way Forward Act. Both measures essentially say that local law enforcement can't communicate with federal officials when it comes to the issue of immigration detainers. So there's a lot of back and forth and legal proceedings on that case. But with Noem coming to Springfield, it's expected that she's gonna make that a major issue. So we've got some other things to focus on here as well, including the governor responding with some what some are calling cheeky comments. You've got the reporters in Chicago getting note from the governor's office, which ultimately says, that Noem's going to be visiting Springfield despite the Trump administration being in office for more than 100 days and falsely accusing Illinois of not following federal and state law. Secretary Noem and her team does not communicate with state of Illinois and has not asked for support or coordination to enforce immigration laws. To ensure media can cover this reality style of the governance, the governor's office says, the state's advising the following events on her behalf. And this is being reported by the Chicago Sun-Times. And there's even this little jab that the governor takes saying people need to keep their pets safe while Noem is in Springfield. So Noem is going to go to a federal DHS office in Springfield first, reportedly, and then going to hold a news event outside the governor's office in Illinois. And it's already spurred on some calling for protests, including the AFL-CIO union. They posted last night that Noem's going to be in Springfield, even saying that Director or Secretary Noem is going to be at the governor's mansion. Please be aware, federal officers will be present. Please protect your identity. Let's make some good trouble, ! And so they're ultimately looking to bring protesters to the empty Y block in downtown Springfield, just across the street from the governor's office. They even put together a graphic saying, urgent call to action, show up, speak out, protest against Kristi Noem's MAGA agenda. Governor's Mansion, Capitol Street, arrive by 9 a.m. So here you go. It looks like it's going to be a pretty busy day with some loud and raucous protests of Kristi Noem highlighting Illinois' sanctuary policies for non-citizens. And the taxpayer cost clearly has ballooned considerably in Illinois for funding health care, for funding housing and the like. And how many are here illegally? How many are here as asylum seekers? How many have been involved in the criminal justice system, getting out with no cash bail for certain crimes and then going off and, as is alleged by the DOJ, one in particular being accused of murder 17 days after being released from a jail, despite ICE wanting to apprehend that individual after they got out of a jail. The issues stacking up here. So are the politics, obviously, as you see the AFL-CIO calling for demonstrations and the governor taking kind of snide political jabs at Noem heading into her visits this morning here in Springfield. So another reason why, if you watch the live show, we go live early in the morning when I have to hit the road for these types of events. Typically, we go at 8 o'clock in the morning, but sometimes, and I warned you guys early in advance that this month is going to be kind of like that, just because coverage of the State House could require me being at the Capitol early, and if a dignitary like Secretary Noem's coming to town, I've got to be there. So we'll definitely be giving you highlights of her visit here in Springfield on the issue of migrant sanctuary status here in the state of Illinois and what the federal government's doing about it, other than lawsuits. So we'll be bringing that to you tomorrow. But also today, May 7th, it's Real ID Day, I guess, where it's now required that you have a real ID in order to board a plane or go into certain federal buildings and military installations. Real ID was passed back in 2005, just a handful of years after the September 11th, 2001 terrorist attacks. And it was meant to be, bringing about federal standards for identification. A lot of states pushed back on it. Civil libertarians said we don't need a national ID card, but it passed in 2005. And after all kinds of legal wrangling, you then now have the implementation of the ongoing Real ID. So Kristi Noem, again, with the Department of Homeland Security, she said that Noem is ultimately granting some reprieve for Real ID compliance. Here's a headline from Brett Rowland at the Center Square, where you can read about this. Noem essentially said that you can not have to have a Real ID, but if you don't have it, you may be diverted to a different line, have an extra step. But she says people will be able to fly even if they don't have Real ID. So I think you're going to hear some interesting, questions about the Real ID as well when Noem is here. Secretary of State Alexi Giannoulias put out a note yesterday, and he's going to hold a news conference close to where Noem's holding a news conference at 10:30. He said for months, Secretary Noem has been calling the May 7th date a deadline, implying that Americans must have Real ID or they cannot board in any U.S.-based flights without a valid passport, which has sent people scrambling to get ahead of tomorrow, which is today. Giannoulias further said in a news statement, for the past several months, this has resulted in long lines, frustration, and in many cases, pure panic among residents. Instead of flying across the country to perform campaign-style political stunts designed to traumatize people and promote herself, she should do her, quote, damn job. That's Secretary of State Alexi Giannoulias. So again, he's going to be holding a news conference at about like 10:30, just around the corner from where Secretary Noem is holding a press conference to highlight, as DHS's office says, how Illinois' migrant policies are unleashing, quote, violence on Americans. So it's going to be kind of a twofold day, right? Real ID stuff, and then also the sanctuary state stuff. And one other thing here, too, you've got Congresswoman Mary Miller. She put out a statement yesterday, and also highlighting a Fox News story where she said Governor J.B. Pritzker's sanctuary state policies have transformed Illinois into a cesspool of crime and drugs brought by the illegals he's actively resettling. Our communities are being overwhelmed. Innocent girls are being raped, and Americans are being ruthlessly murdered. These are the tragic consequences of his failed leadership. Mary Miller continues saying, I call on every local sheriff in Illinois to defy those dangerous directives, cooperate with ICE, and support President Trump's deportation efforts. We must act now before one more innocent life is lost or harmed. So, a lot of politics, but obviously substantive issues here where there's clearly a divide amongst elected officials and those who are in the Trump administration on some pretty key issues impacting people every day. So it's going to be a busy day today. We're going to review all of this tomorrow morning with Noem, with Giannoulias, Real ID, migrant sanctuary policies, and so on. So you're definitely going to want to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell here on YouTube for the Center Square. We'll bring you the latest and get the headlines in your inbox each and every weekday morning. Just go to thecentersquare.com. You'll be able to sign up and get those headlines emailed to you each and every morning. And if you can't make the live show like here, where I went live way early, like an hour and 20 minutes earlier than I typically do, you can get the podcast. Just search Illinois in Focus, and you'll find the podcast that way. I'm Greg Bishop. This is Illinois in Focus Daily.